more and more the bar goes up.
Moussaka.
Squash couscous.
This morning we're going to do a little flower arranging exercise.
I want to get the highest mark.
I'd like to get an 80.
I want to get 80.
They're trying to Stratfordify us.
Change who you are and mold you.
This is kind of get it or get out.
I thoroughly understand these dishes. I don't understand you.
This is your time to shine. You're gonna be just fine. It's your time and I. Look how far you come. Open your eyes. This is your time tonight. It turned out all right. You don't have to fight tonight. Look how far you come. Open your eyes. Look how far you come. Open your eyes.
Previously on Chef School.
Today's class will be stewing.
This is not a simple dish.
These classes are all 3 hours to make a dish that's, 15 minutes of chopping stuff up.
I don't understand, Dave.
You guys happy with this dish?
No.
So much of David is bravado.
It's a lot of little things. Everything is slightly off.
In my opinion, a lot of little things wrong in one dish add up to one big wrong.
I don't need some smart-ass chef coming in and telling me that I can't cook.
Stop fucking around. Stop being the fucking clown of the class.
I've dragged my ass out of bed to Patso's, and we are decorating flower arrangements.
Ridiculous. Some people are resistant to learning the kinds of things that I try to teach.
Morning.
Simply because at this stage in their lives, they don't understand the importance of them.
Absolutely ridiculous.
This morning we're going to do a little flower arranging exercise.
Oh, God.
It is kind of like torture.
The same rules that apply to food presentation apply to flower arranging.
They're trying to Stratfordify us.
Change who you are and mold you.
To coin the term.
So to begin with, we have this little example here of, it's like a little nosegay. It's like a little something that you pick for somebody very special.
It wouldn't surprise me if the gym wanted to introduce elocution lessons so that we would properly say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
But I think I won't say any more. I'll just let you play with it.
It's not something I would do in my restaurant. I would get my maitre d' or my wife or my girlfriend or whatever, Someone would be doing that for me.
Boring.
Really, really boring. Really boring.
It's the same thing as with food presentation. The thing has to be in proportion.
And being told that, no, Mike, your powers aren't pretty enough.
Most male cooks are very macho.
Okay, comparison.
Yes, but that's little and tiny.
Well, I know it is, but one has to. It's just, yes, big and bold is the order of the day.
I had to hold my tongue. Jim's not the kind of guy you talk back to.
It has to look as if it belongs on the table in the end.
Anything that's sort of airy-fairy or they're just not comfortable with.
It's a bit sparse, isn't it? That
I was going for the simple.
You were going for the simple, small look, yes? All this other movement class and flower decorating and all that crap.
I think if Eleanor didn't rein Jim in a little, this would almost become finishing school for boys. I'll leave it at just that statement.
I get that kind of dismissal at all levels. I mean, everything from a young person coming into school or to work and just sort of walking right past me without acknowledging me.
Fucking flower arranging.
And I will usually say, well, it's lovely to see you too, dear.
The intention is everything, and no matter how bad something is, it's never quite without charm.
I never give up.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, yes. But like they say, you can take the stripper out of the strip bar, but you can't take the strip bar out of the stripper.
Morning, students.
Morning, Chef.
This is your third exam.
This exam is tough because,
You know, everybody knows us. They know our flaws. They know what to look for.
Definitely is more personal.
After 12 weeks in school, you will now be marked a little more severely.
You're getting marked on everything.
These exams are not just, can you follow a cooking method?
Organization, cooking, customer satisfaction.
This can either bring your mark up to something that you're happy with.
I want to get the highest mark.
I'd like to get an 80.
I want to get 80. Or it can like take you down.
I'd better get good marks for this.
As this is an exam, you're not allowed to talk to one another. You're not allowed to ask questions. Anything you aren't sure about, you should have found out before.
This is kind of get it or get out.
It's mind-bogglingly stressful.
Thank you and good luck.
Today's exam day, I'm preparing Tante Paulette's chicken stew. It's served with fennel and saffron. You have to let it sit for a while so that all the flavors can intermingle and you end up with a nice combined flavor.
When anybody cooks a dish, they always impart their own personality onto the dish.
I feel like hell.
Some people are sensitive, some people are angry, some people are frustrated. You know, those things always show up in a dish.
I'm not nervous. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what steps I'm supposed to take. I've got my plan laid out, and I'm going to follow it.
Watching Andrew prepare his dish, there seemed to be a mechanical approach to his cooking. He was just preparing the items, but there didn't seem to be anything coming from him. The people that do put themselves into their food with a lot of passion, their food will always be better. So Alison is making couscous, and it's a combination of steaming and stewing.
I'm nervous to do it because it's the chef's favorite dish.
It is a tricky dish.
So I'm doomed.
There's a number of steps in the preparation of the couscous. Students get confused. On to David then.
I feel good about this exam. I'm making the grilled salmon with olive sauce.
It is a difficult dish in as much as he's cooking salmon.
I'm totally confident.
Simpler dishes are quite often the more complex to do.
I'm pretty excited about this, you know. Baxter's pretty hard on me all the time, and this is my chance to make up for it.
Some issues that I've seen with David so far. He was peeling asparagus for his dish this morning, but he was peeling it with a knife.
My peeler is horrible.
As opposed to peeling it with a potato peeler.
So I would rather use a knife to peel my vegetables.
That's fine if you're maybe peeling 3 spears.
Chefs don't seem to like it when I peel things with a knife.
He wasn't getting a very even look to the asparagus.
It's faster and it does a better job.
And it's also going to take him a lot longer.
Asparagus is always a breeze.
By week 12, we expect more knowledge, more wisdom, and perhaps a bit more humility.
You know, I can cook asparagus with my eyes closed.
They must be asking, do I have what it takes?
It's week 12 and we've already done a lot of exams, and like if you're not doing well now, that's bad. Then I think you're screwed.
Something's starting to burn. Is anybody burning something?
Something's starting to burn?
Burning?
I burn.
Did you burn something? Yeah. What did you burn?
Well, you'll see.
Okay.
These exams are okay. I've been teaching you for 12 weeks. I've been watching you. I know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Let's see what you can do with this.
Whose pot of water is here? Whose stock is this? The week 12 mark is also a measure for us to see how well we've been able to teach the students.
Chef Baxter doesn't like me. Never has.
I never know what's gonna come out of Chef Baxter's mouth.
Never know. He's always hated me.
He says some pretty weird, strange things sometimes.
I'm here to learn to cook. I'm not here to be Baxter's friend. Here you go, chef. Here's grilled salmon with olive sauce.
Thanks, David.
Enjoy.
Thank you. David.
Last time I made this dish, I was told my sauce was too delicate and it should hit you in the face. So you looked like you got hit in the face there when you tried it.
You're breaking my heart.
He gives me a recipe that's absolutely disgusting and expects me to make it good. And, you know, to make it good, I'd have to totally change the recipe and make it my own recipe, but that's not what my assignment is.
It is very salty and very acidy, to the point where when I try it, it's like, wow, this is not good.
He wants grilled fish in lemon juice, white wine, and vinegar, with a bunch of potatoes and asparagus and artichokes. So I gave him some nice potatoes, asparagus, artichokes, a perfectly grilled piece of salmon, and a bunch of acids.
When you check the salmon, how did you check it for doneness?
By feel.
This is just barely cooked, and you can see it's still very raw in the middle, David. Okay.
Yes, chef.
David, I gave you 32 out of 50. That's 64% out of 100, and that is a fail.
Squash couscous.
Thank you, Allison.
You're welcome.
Allison, you have the misfortune of cooking one of my favorite things in the world.
I heard that.
You did?
Yeah.
It's very good.
Thank you.
Just put a little more broth on the stew. It needs a little bit more wetness. Everything does a lot better when things are a little wetter.
Mm-hmm.
Allison, you got 42 out of 50. That would be 84%, and you have a pass.
Thank you.
Michael, you have 40 out of 50. That would be 80%. You have a pass.
Don't I get a sexual analogy?
Yes. I'd give you a second phone call.
Okay, excellent.
Danielle, your mark was 78%.
Thank you, chef.
With all students, I think it's important to give them feedback to help them express themselves more.
All right. Moussaka.
Thank you, Tim. With Tim, he's a very quiet person. He's older than a lot of the others. I think that maybe at times he feels that he's not as good as some of the other students, or is afraid of showing that he is as good. I would like to draw Tim out of himself. Tim,
Ready?
come on over.
Nice.
How are you?
Not bad.
You're like a rock below the ocean.
I don't know what he's talking about. He's this rock, this ocean.
I'd like to see you get past that and to be as confident as I think you are below the surface.
Now maybe he wants to go swimming, I don't know.
Just exude a little more cockiness, all right?
I think the point of his story is for me to surface.
It's a very good dish.
To be more proud of my foundation, I guess, or I don't know.
Tim, you have the great honor of getting 86%, which is a pass and one of the top mark for the class today. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. I gotta read it. Thanks. Ooh. Dude.
Most of the time in the kitchen, I'm just, to be honest, I'm trying not to mess up.
Thank you, Andrew.
The third exam is one where, you know, could we serve this at one of the restaurants here? And if it's really not up to that standard, well then maybe I do need to question whether or not I have what it takes to be a chef.
All right, Andrew. This should shout of party, big flavors. And right now, giving the impression of Taunt, who is very amorous. She was a lady that had a vicious appetite for everything in her life. So whenever she cooked, she put a lot of herself into it.
It just didn't have that oomph that makes a dish stand out. So it's not going to be an 80%, which I would have liked.
You're missing that with this dish.
I figure it's probably a mid-70s right now.
Preparing the rui, I noticed you were scraping the bowl a lot.
Gave it an aluminum flavor?
Yeah. Dish needs more seasoning in it. The vegetables need to be cooked out a lot further, and you have to learn the process of building flavors.
I've clearly missed the boat.
When I see and watch you cook, I don't get a sense of emotion, of passion to get into the dish, get your hands dirty, get angry, get frustrated, get mad, get happy.
It's a fair enough statement. I don't really know how to react to a statement like, I don't put enough passion in the food.
But just show some kind of emotion.
Maybe in my former career, I mean, science isn't really an area where one tends to get overly passionate. If anything, you're supposed to detach yourself.
Food talks to you and do something for me, make me enjoy who I am. Andrew, you got 33.5 out of 50 and 67%, and that is a fail today.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you. Something I need you all to understand, you're in an industry which is very fickle. So learn to do the best and keep your standards the highest, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Chef.
I have been thinking about dropping out, but you know, you just can't give up. I'm not the type to roll over and die.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm a little upset. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
If a customer walked into your restaurant and said, make me this recipe, and you followed that recipe exactly, and they complained, what would you do?
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
Well, you gave me a recipe. I made it as the recipe depicted.
Right.
You said it was too strong.
Right.
And you complained that it was too salty, and I put like next to no salt in. I felt that piece of fish was medium rare. You said it was undercooked. And if I had a customer walk in my restaurant and say, make this recipe for me, and I made it exactly as they said, and I cooked it to their specifications, and they still complained, I would say, get out of my restaurant and don't come back.
I feel like he needs to be humbled by someone. I don't know if that person exists.
I tasted Dave's dish, and Dave's dish was awful. His salmon was raw. What he plated was raw salmon with salt sauce.
I ate that fish, it was medium rare. I thoroughly understand these dishes. I don't understand you.
I don't know what I can say at this point.
I mean, if you can't be humbled by Chef Baxter, like, what are you here for?
If you can't see what I'm trying to get you to see, then for you to go forward from here is not going to be an easy process.
That's why I'm here to talk to you. I'm borderline passing this year now because of this.
Absolutely.
And I did this the way I thought it should be done.
Sure. So what does that say?
Don't do things the way I think they should be done.
No, it needs you to address your style of cooking right now. Because if the dish you had today was an example of what you think is good cooking, you're off base.
I don't agree with you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Next time on Chef School.
Today's my birthday. I'm 22 years old.
Has anyone seen Kelsey?
You know, most young people, they're all in this decade of struggle.
My day would be fucked if I was that late.
I can't even hold it steady. So this is coq au vin.
And today I present to you squash couscous.
In your 20s, this is when things either get out of the ditch or they stay in the ditch.
There